Today's episode of Wine Time Fridays is brought to you in part by our friends at Eternal Wine, Pilgrim's Market, and CDA Gourmet.
It's been a long week, right? Are you ready to wind down? Why not? It's time for the Wine Time Fridays podcast with Shelley and Phil. Neither are sommeliers, but both have a deep passion for life, each other, and of course, delicious wine. And now, here to talk about this week over a glass of wine is Shelley and Phil. It's wine time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil on this Friday. That kind of rolls right off the tongue. On this Friday. What? June 13th.
It's Friday the 13th.
Oh. Episode 269, Shelley. Happy Friday. Ring that Friday the 13th bell. It's wine time. It's Friday the 13th. How do we not know that?
I don't know.
Okay. Everything's going to go smooth today.
We have no black cats.
No black cats, but we have a black dog. We also have with us Caitlin Holesinsky with Holesinsky Vineyard and Winery. Did I say that all correct, Caitlin?
You did. You totally nailed it. Thank you.
Nice.
Woo!
Welcome to Wine Time Fridays. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
They're going to open it immediately.
Immediately. We can't talk without wine in our glasses.
Okay.
What?
Right? Totally.
Why would you think? I just opened a 2024 Holesinsky Grüner Veltliner.
Yeah.
So did I.
Have to tell you, I am so excited for this. One of my very favorite white varietals, especially for this time of year. Oh, by the way, second week of Idaho Wine Month. Let's do a proper Wine Time Fridays toast, and then we will get into this wine. To health, wealth, and abundance, gratitude, romance, and
peace on earth.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
Boom. Beautiful bouquet nose.
That's delicious. It's perfect for this time of year.
It's perfect for that time of year, too.
This and that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. This is fantastic. From the Snake River Valley, I'll bet the alcohol, 12.5, boom.
Nice.
These are just all of our clients dinging us right now because I can't figure out how to silence my computer. But that's what we do here at Wine Time Fridays when we're doing...
She's going to be sending a lot of pictures. Oh, no.
It might be mine. You never know.
No, it's ours. It's mine. It's from the meeting that we were at when you called originally.
Well, hopefully it was a good one. So yeah, this is actually our first time ever working with Grüner. So this is grown at Houston Vineyards.
Yeah.
And so they have always grown Grüner really, really well. It's one of my first times ever working with the varietal. My tasting room manager, Natalie, kind of made me fall in love with Grüner last year and just has been talking about it. And so finally this year we did a Grüner. So it's not a grape varietal that we grow at our vineyard, but we are able to source that from our other friends at, Houston Vineyard. So that's been super amazing to be able to pull fruit from their vineyard here in Idaho.
You did great for a first time.
So Natalie made you like the Grüner. By that she means, Caitlin said, "Can I have one more glass of this?" Is Natalie your partner in crime on all of your fun Instagram videos?
So that is tall Natalie. Little Natalie will usually be slightly maybe flipping the bird. On the Instagram. Nice. She doesn't usually come to content days, but she is an amazing wine friend that I made about, 10 years ago when I just entered the wine industry. She used to buy wine from me at our local bottle shop. And then when she left there, I was gifted to be able to have her here. And ever since, it's been amazing. So she really pushes us to try new varietals that we haven't done before. So We are doing a Tempranillo this year, which I did
Yay.
not plan on doing. So, yeah.
That's so cool. Good for you for trying new things out. You are located in Buell, Idaho, which I just have to say, I love the way you guys name your wines. Buell Gelée.
Yes.
Yep.
It is pronounced Buell, or is Buell?
Buell. Yep. You got it perfectly correct.
Yeah. It's play on words with Buell Gelée.
Yeah.
I love that. And then what's that?
I said TTB missed that.
Right?
They proved the label.
Yeah. You have Octopus Syrah and Unicorn Sparkle. By the way, the Beaujolais Rosé of Syrah we featured episode 114, and then the Unicorn.
Last year? Or the year before?
That was the year before, and then Unicorn Sparkle we featured last year on episode 146.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that was 2 years ago. Anyway,
I was going to bring that down to my friend who loves unicorns.
which
Yay.
one?
We see her we see her every time at Social Media Marketing World.
Ah,
It was right around there, I think, that we were trying that.
Yeah, could have been. We may have actually. That's right. It could have been on that trip. We had to record remotely.
Yeah.
For Idaho Wine
Ooh,
Month.
that's always fun.
Shelley's got the Holesinsky Winery Instagram pulled up because
Oh, yay.
we literally every time we see one of your videos, I crack up, and I'm always trying to comment on it and respond because they are so well done. You guys have fun doing them too. It looks like.
Yes, content days are fun, well planned. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they go crazy, sometimes they just don't work out. I think I almost broke my nose one time on my horse, got a horn to the saddle, you know. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, we definitely like to have fun with it, and I think that it really speaks to our brand and just who we're trying to bring in to buy our wine is we want to be fun and approachable, and we want to give education. And in all reality, I think that wine has lost the younger generation because we've been so serious and snobby. And in all reality, you can still be fun and be serious.
Well, I mean, wine does not have to be pretentious. There's a whole segment of people that would prefer it stay that way, and we're not among those people. It's wine is for everybody to enjoy, and you guys have it right on in terms of the content, how to produce that on social media with the entertaining, the educating, the just the fun aspect of it.
There was a Barbie video, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, when the Barbie movie came out.
I mean, didn't you love the Barbie movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
did I see it?
Like everyone wants to come like watch the Barbie movie like in a winery, drink rosé and sparkling rosé. I mean, I think that's kind of what builds a community around your brands, is just being fun and approachable and just asking people to come in and join and drink.
Yeah.
You say you have your content days.
Yes.
Do you do that consistently? Like you'll have a content day every week, or do you have two, or do you have them every other? Because businesses need to listen to this. This is something that you are intentional in doing. It's not like, oh, I guess we should post something today, and sometimes it is that way. But when you plan ahead and are intentional, the production aspect goes way up, and then you're not like scrambling to put out a fire just to get a video up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there definitely have been those days when we've been short on content, but yeah, these are planned out. So my team is always in contact with each other about the events that we have going up, wines that we need to promote, new things that we're doing, ideas that we're throwing around. We are really centered around people coming to the vineyard and also purchasing our wine in stores, because that ultimately brings them here and then they never want to leave.
Always offering something that you can't get in a store at the tasting room.
Yes. So we do about 30 different wines right now. Wow. 18 of those are distributed by Hayden Beverage in your area as well. And then we do have about 20 wines that are just specific to the winery.
So any of these, so all four that we're trying today are available here in North Idaho?
Not the Grüner, not the Sasquatch, or the Merlot, but the JH Chardonnay is.
So here's the thing. You're just a short 7.5 hours away from Coeur d'Alene. And so
is it only that?
Only that. I could not actually find any information on this Grüner. Is it that new? It's not on your website?
Yeah, for sure. It is. So we released that in February. And some of these wines that we do 200 case runs of will actually sell out of the winery before they ever make it to the website. In all honesty, my website, my winery is not a direct to consumer brand. You know, I want you to come here.
Sure.
The experience is at the winery in the vineyard and not really just ordering it online. Anyone can do that.
What is this price point for this Grüner?
So this Grüner is 16.
It's 2023.
And yeah, I've got 2023 bottle. I had 2024 in the notes.
It is. It's because it was labeled wrong. So we actually screen print all of our, this happens every year. It's usually the liquid quack, but for some reason it was this vintage and I didn't get to throw a sticker on your bottle before I sent it.
I freaking love the fact that we can go to the internet and have this rare 2023 empty bottle that's really a 2024.
Yes.
We're going to make so much money off this.
It's like a Beanie Baby.
It's like a Beanie Baby.
Oh my gosh.
Not
Princess
anything
got
like
you
it.
a Beanie Baby.
On the tags. There's a mistake on the tags. It's a rare.
There's a mistake on the label.
Who still has Beanie Babies? I think I still have some.
I do.
You do too? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I used to have more than 500.
There we go. Me too.
I will walk away from this episode if you guys talk about Beanie Babies any further.
No, you won't.
No, you're
Okay,
right, I
well,
won't.
let's get back to wine. What I do like about Grüner and what I am really glad that you called out right away was the alcohol content. And so for me, when I'm making wine, when I'm tasting wine, alcohol is usually, honestly, my balancing factor. And so I think that it is what will make or break a wine, especially in rosé and whites.
Yeah.
You want it to be balanced. And I think a lot of time alcohol will bring that to this wine. So you get a lot of apricot. And then do you guys know what stone fruit floral note that is? Can you
Only because we hear it, but not really tasted that.
Stone fruit?
Stone fruit floral?
It's on the nose. It's on the nose, not tasting.
Yeah.
I just get super, super clean on this.
That's your third taste.
It's third taste. It's not my third
I
glass.
said third taste.
Okay. Jeez.
That means he likes it.
I do
He's
like
gotta
it.
keep sipping.
I do like it. And I try to be real careful. I get in trouble sometimes for pouring a little too much during these episodes. And then she has to give them to me because we don't use a dump bucket because it's a dump fill. And so, yeah.
I thought you guys would maybe taste them before. That's why I sent a couple extra bottles. Or maybe
we really enjoy tasting this as blind as we can get, I guess, to get that first opinion.
Totally.
We sometimes will have our guests send us 2 of them just in case one might be bad. And then, so we try to smell every one just in case. And I've got those in backup if we need, or they'll just go into our summer lineup. And we'll thank you every time we have a sip of these.
Yes, because all of them are probably going to be sold out by the end of summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's how many cases did you make of this, by the way?
So I just did 200 cases of this. So usually when I'm trying out a new varietal, I'll usually just do 200 cases. If I'm doing an estate organic single vineyard, just depends on the fruit year.
we just got this right from the fridge. So
I know it takes a little.
I
I was like, you better pull out the JH Estate Chardonnay. I always like to say that as Americans, we serve whites too cold.
and red's probably too warm. We have a 2020 rule that we kind of abide by. Pull that white wine out of the fridge 20 minutes before you're going to open it. And if you have your reds in a room temperature room, like in the 70s, put it in the fridge for 20 minutes. These two reds that we're going to open have been down in 56 degrees, dark and quiet and calming. And
open them now.
The wine spa.
The wine spa? I don't have a wine. I mean, I guess I kind of do have multiple wine spas, but.
We are ready to open that Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Jump though.
I have been so excited about this lineup. This is the 2024 Holesinsky JH Chardonnay. Believe that stands for Jimmy Holesinsky or James.
Yes. Do you know him? If you said Jimmy or Hoser or any of those, I would have thought you would have known him from.
Oh, that's right, Hoser. I did see that.
Hoser.
Hoser, take off. Shelley's Canadian, so she uses Hoser all the time.
Oh, really?
No, she is Canadian, but she doesn't use Hoser all the time.
I didn't figure. Where are you from in Canada?
I don't think they call them Hoser anymore.
Oh, that was from Strange Brew. You Hoser
People
take
do
off.
call James Hoser.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So, do people call him Jimmy?
No, never Jimmy. That's why I was like, haven't heard that one before.
I was just
Jamie. Jamie. They'll call him Jamie if they knew him when he was young.
Or Jammy.
Jammy, yeah.
Well, he's not here, so we can poke fun at him.
He totally was going to be. He might pop in. You never know where James is going to be. He is the Willy Wonka of winemaking. He was in Boise today, so he might shoot in. But this wine has been my absolute obsession this year. So this is our 2024 JH Organic Estate Chardonnay. So I don't know. I hope that you guys get to come out and visit our vineyard one time, but our vineyard is so organic. These are the grapes right next to my home. They were the first vines planted on the property. The vineyard started with these first planting of the first 1,000 Chardonnay plants, and that was in 2001. And usually bud break starts in these vines, but it started in a different spot this year. So I'm thinking that this next vintage is just going to be like absolutely amazing. We've had flowering in the same plot for about the last week and a half.
Okay.
And this specific wine is so fruit forward. It is actually pretty dry. I think it's about 0.8. So all of that is fruit.
This is sensational in the nose. Has this got a kiss of oak on it?
Not at all.
Not at all. But there's just something there. So this is just the fruit talking to us.
So not oak, but I don't know how many other Idaho wineries are doing free runs, but this is the creme de la creme. And so these are the first grapes that are picked. We put them into our press and in a very French style. Before we inflate the bladder, we tumble them. And so this is the first press of that load. So it's going to be the best juice that we have had all year.
Oh.
Nice.
Hashtag cheersing.
Cheersing.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
I know. So it is a 11.5 alcohol. Tastes a little bit more boozy than that.
11.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's 11.5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Full stainless steel fermentation. And again, so this is going to be the only bottle certified by the Idaho State Department of Agriculture and USDA in the state of Idaho. And that's something that we're super, super proud of. people keep asking for organically grown grapes, wine. We keep giving it to them, and people are kind of starting to pay attention.
Yeah, they really are. I've got in my notes that your vineyard is free of glyphosates.
Glyphosates.
I said it right.
You did, yeah.
Chemicals, that one I can say, pesticides, and does not use any synthetic fertilizers, weed killers, or fungicides. What do you do to keep your weeds down?
A lot of work.
So you're actually pulling those puppies?
Yes, so we do
That's
hand
gross.
weeding about at least 4 times a year with a full crew of pickers. So the same people that pick the vineyard are going to go through and weed it. In previous years, we have tried to use orange oil for weed control. It was kind of expensive, and I think like Florida had a hurricane, and orange oil was on a high surplus. But it's everyone says, oh, that must be so hard, and then I say, well, have you ever seen a chemical bill for a vineyard? Which I haven't, because I've never have, but I have quoted them out. We are chemists by trade, and so we are chemical manufacturers. And so I know what that costs for a big commercial vineyard, and I'm very happy that as a small boutique vineyard, I don't have to do that.
We've run into so many, like during Oregon Wine Month, where they'll actually have animals that will go and weed for them, which is kind of cool. Or different plants that will keep weeds down, complementary plants and whatnot. I will do anything possible not to weed.
We don't spray bad things here, though.
We don't think we do. I haven't used Roundup forever. Jeez. Not these
Good for
days.
you.
Man, people will be screaming at us. But I'll tell you, I used to spray Bush Be Gone on blackberries, and it took care of them. But all of that stuff's bad for the universe, our world, and all of that. And so there are natural ways.
Baking soda.
Baking soda?
Yeah. Baking soda on weeds in the driveway.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What about the robins? Aren't they taking care of them?
I don't think so. Why would they?
I don't know. Robins get into everything.
Mm.
You bring the chickens back there. They'll take care of the weeds.
No, they won't either. They're lazy bums.
100% Chardonnay, 11.5 alcohol, certified organic. And this is the only bottle in the state of Idaho that's certified organic. Is that correct?
Yes, for sure. So we are still the only standing winery that has ever been USDA certified organic in the state of Idaho. I think there's a lot of confusion going around in the industry right now about what's organic, what's not. There's some other agencies that are trying to claim live organic, which is not regulated. They do not come and inspect you every year. My organic inspection is next week. Live organic is a play on words, to be honest. It says that if you're going to lose your crop, you can make any additions. It's not really regulated by anyone coming in and auditing your books or what you're using, your labels. And so being organic is definitely an extra step on the commercial side, because before I bottle anything, I have to send all of my chemistry to the USDA and then my label approval. And then from there on, it goes on to TTB, which would be the normal avenue for someone who wasn't certified organic. So
what's the turnaround time on that?
I just sent in a 2022 organic label, and it was about a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's workable.
Not like 3 to 5 days like TTB.
Yeah.
little bit longer, but being the only one in Idaho, next week I actually have my inspection, so they usually spend a full day here. They usually bring out a lot of trainees just so in case anyone else wants to, go that way, they know how to audit them and what to look for.
We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to find out how you guys even got into making wine, because you guys are chemists by trade. This has been fun. When we come back.
What do you think?
Welcome back to Wine Time Friday. It's episode 269 on this Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th, as Shelley pointed out. And no bad luck so far. We have Caitlin Holesinsky with Holesinsky Vineyard and Winery. My articulation is really being challenged by saying Holesinsky Vineyard.
There we go.
Vineyard and Winery. Vineyard and Winery. Okay, there you go. Thanks for making fun of me, you guys.
Vineyard and
Winery. We have just tasted through their first ever Grüner Veltliner, which is, if you haven't tried a Grüner, please do. You may have to go down to Holesinsky to get their Grüner, but there are other Grüners that are okay. This Grüner is outstanding. So easy to drink. You probably finish the bottle before you know it, which is okay. It's 12.5. This is a 2022 Holesinsky Vineyard Ghost Stallion Merlot. Now, there's a story behind this.
There must be.
And I kind of touched a little bit on it, but I'm really excited for you to expand a little bit on this.
This is such a beautiful bottle.
It totally is. So I just kind of want to give a call out to all of the beautiful bottles. They're all screen printed in Garden City. Yeah, by Precision Bottle Decorators. And so we love Mitch. We've worked with him for over 15 years. And so we are super committed to keeping everything local. So this is obviously a beautiful bottle. And if you have noticed on my Instagram and Facebook, I am a horse girly through and through since I was a girl. So in 2022, which is the vintage of this wine, I decided to bring two of my horses back to the property. And that made my heart sing. It made my Merlot sing. So previously, I've always done a great 100% Merlot, but it was a 3 vineyard blend. And so this is all estate. So it is also organically grown. And so it follows along our bottle series of kind of our Idaho fables. And so the Ghost Stallion is actually a fable. So according to Idaho folklore, a ghost stallion would help farmers when they were lost in storms and kind of bring them back home. We have had really, really funny Ghost Stallion Merlot happenstances in the vineyard. So we are harvest hosts. So one night I had a host text me and say, "Hey, there was a lot of noise outside last night. I think there was an animal in the vineyard." And sure as shit, there was a horse out there. So we found hoof prints out there. Took a couple grapes out. Ghost Stallion, not quite like the folklore or fable, but why I did name it Ghost Stallion is because in 2020, when the horses did come back to the vineyard, this plot of grapes just flourished. I don't know if it was love, light. I don't know if it was me being down there more, but it is the closest plot to my horses. And besides my Chardonnay, they're my babies on the property. So
well, here's the deal. It's like everything is energy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so when you bring in the energy of a horse, the vines will likely, unless they're completely opposite, they'll probably really appreciate that. It's all a part of the energy of the world. I think it makes perfect sense. And I think we've got a hashtag that we are unveiling. It's the Stable Fable.
The Stable Fable.
The Stable Fable. I just did that.
What is a stable fable?
Well, you were talking about the fables, and a horse lives in the stables, and so I put together the two. Clearly, it's not going to stick. Well, there you go.
It might, because so we are building a very large barn for the horses down by the Merlot, and people keep asking me, "Is this a new tasting room? Is this a venue?" And I'm like, "No, it's for the horses. They're going to make the wine better. Don't worry."
But you could also have that be a VIP experience down the road too, you know.
Totally.
It's just there's so many different avenues and opportunities. Of course, it has to work in with the personality of your winery and things like that. But it seems like that'd be a really good opportunity. This thing, I haven't even tasted it yet. A sign of a wine I'm enjoying the crap out of is when I continue to smell and smell and smell some more, and I haven't tasted it yet.
I did.
I know. I saw that. You little
Coming back
sneak.
to it.
Hashtag cheersing.
It's delicious.
A little
I've
chocolate
been in
notes in
wine
here.
for about 10 years, and I have never had one of our Merlots throw eucalyptus, which obviously is a tertiary flavor. I usually let my wine sit for at least 1 to 2 years. This sat for about a year. And honestly, I think that I get a lot of like sagebrush, not just eucalyptus, which I think is very distinct of our terroir here. A lot of sagebrush. We are right on the canyon.
I was saying chocolate. Now, after tasting it, I'm getting baking chocolate.
Baking chocolate.
Baking chocolate.
Chocolate?
Chocolate with no sugar.
Yeah.
So cocoa.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Cacao.
can bake with it.
It's still a little tight, but this will probably open up really nicely. I tell you, I think this is a good time to bring up some food pairings with the Grüner Veltliner,
Well,
the
Shelby
Chard.
talked about that a little.
Well, it was a little off camera, but we could put that on camera. We don't know with the Chinese food. And, I forgot already what the Chardonnay. Sushi. That's right. What would you pair this with? Besides a big fat
Natalie,
steak.
what is your call out for the pairing for
Ghost Merlot? Mm-hmm. I think he needs a big fat ribeye. He's real tight right now. He's a bucking bronco.
So Natalie said he's a bucking bronco, and he needs a big fat piece of steak.
Natalie and I are like this because I said a big fat steak too.
I know. Sometimes those are hard notes for me to describe because I've been a vegetarian my whole life, so I've never had that fat, juicy piece of steak. So usually I'm more of like halibut or kind of fish. But
is that
if I was a meat eater, I would totally want a ribeye.
Would Natalie say this is a bucking Boise State Bronco?
Ooh.
Huh?
She said no comment. I don't think she's a football fan.
She's not a football fan?
No.
Which
she's
is
a wine
fine.
fan, though.
There's a few of those out there. We respect that.
Yeah. She said definitely not a Denver Bronco.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
absolutely. No way, Jose. This is fantastic.
It is.
Merlot
is one of my favorites.
Yeah, lately when we should probably not go grab another bottle of wine. I will say, are we done? Just a little bit more. Do we have something open? No. It's like, okay, you can go pick something out. What are you feeling like? A Merlot. And this is delivering big time. This also comes in at a 14.25 alcohol by volume. And
not too bad.
No, I mean, I'll tell you what, in Washington, this would be like 15-1. So, yeah.
Sorry, Natalie was just bringing up the fact she's working today. You want to hop on and say hi?
Is she the one that crawled in behind you?
No, she's under me trying to pack up wine right now. But, that's just living the vineyard winery life.
So what I
Somebody
think is
crawled in behind you and didn't want to be on camera.
do you have to?
And there she is. Half of her anyway. For those of you on YouTube, you're going to have to imagine what the other half of Natalie's face looks like.
She's not on social media. You can't find her.
Well, sort of. So what I think is super cool about this Merlot is that I've worked out here about 4 years, and this is the third time we've worked with just our vineyard Merlot. It tastes like our vineyard. We pull some really cool anisey notes and some really neat acid that I haven't found in any other Merlots in a very, very long time. So it's very distinct to us, I think.
It's great when the terroir can talk, yeah?
Yeah.
And Natalie's not going to jump on here, but she's
Well,
the one that made us make the Grüner. And so she heavily influences all of my winemaking decisions, what we produce. I sold wine to her for years. I love her.
Well,
she's
we got
great
half
at
of her.
food.
What's that?
She's great at food.
Yeah, I mean, in this sort of world of wine, you tend to gravitate. I mean, it's great to have a glass of wine on its own. No argument. But when you pair it with the right food, it just like, it's not double better. It's like triple better. It's so good when you pair that with really fun food. You said you're a vegetarian. You would have this Merlot with a halibut?
So I don't know if I would. I usually go towards the JH, but I mean, I probably would depending on the night. Yeah, it'd be good.
What would Caitlin pair with this then if it's not going to be red meat?
So I do like a mixed mushroom dish with maybe some
That
Hawaiian
makes sense.
pineapple, some
Ooh.
coleslaw. Natalie actually made this for me the other night.
It sounds
She
like
did.
Natalie's indispensable.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm going to have
Well,
to start making up a false name for her.
I apologize. I know tomorrow's conversation with her will involve, I need a pay raise.
Look what I'm now appearing on stage.
This wasn't a part of my contract.
If you come here, you will get all of Natalie, but she doesn't love to be on.
Yep, now we have
camera.
to go.
We have to. I want to see what that other side of her face looks like.
Oh, she's amazing. So she purchased wine from me for probably over 10 years. And when I was new in the wine industry, she just really appreciated anyone that was trying. And I was. So while I didn't really know a lot, she was loving with open arms into the industry and made me feel really comfortable.
That's
and I
awesome.
think that we really need more of those people in the industry, because it is hard to go out there and taste wine and have people critique you. And there are some days in the market that are really hard as a winemaker or a salesperson. It doesn't really matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
People are still going to offend you or give you their opinions in the same way. And that's kind of just part of the business.
I kind of think that's their issue, not ours.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, how I always approach tastings is that I am happy to be at the table. I'm happy to educate you. I'm happy to talk about my wines, and how you take that is not personal to me.
Right. Exactly. So how did you guys get into making wine? You said you were both you and James were chemists?
Yeah, for sure. So I went to school for chemistry, and then James did not go to school for chemistry. He went to UC Davis for their enology program. And so he was really interested in growing grapes, not necessarily making wine. That obviously evolved. And so he was making organic wine in 2006 before that was even really a thing. That was the first fruit from this vineyard. Back then, he was doing it under cork. When I came into the business, we were only doing about 3 different varietals, and obviously now we're doing about 30. My entrance into the wine world had nothing to do with wine, but a lot to do with chemistry and just wanting to build a legacy for my family.
Are you involved in the actual winemaking as well right now?
Yeah, for sure. So there's Neil, James, and me, and then there's Natalie, obviously. And so we taste together. We taste barrels. We were over there today. We decide what we want to do. This year we did a straight Petit Verdot, which was not something we ever planned on doing, or
Love Petit Verdot.
I know, or expanding more wines. So if anything, we're kind of trying to scale it down a little, but we just keep getting really, really inspired by different varietals and wanting to do different things. And in all honesty, that's like what wine and winemaking is about, especially if you get to the point that you have a big enough case production to support a commercial business, but then still be able to make the things that you're passionate about, which is what we like to do.
That's always good.
We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to go a little Sasquatch in husky colors.
Sassy.
Purple.
Yes.
Bow down to Washington. Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and Caitlin Holesinsky, spelled Holesinsky.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
Holes in sky.
Yeah.
Which
we need to do like a word association. It's
I
so
know.
hard.
I know. It's ski would be an I, but it's anyway. Long story short, we're with Caitlin. We have just tasted the 2024 mislabeled Holesinsky Vineyard Grüner Veltliner. It says 2023.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to go on eBay and get a lot of money for that bottle. The 2024 Holesinsky Vineyard JH Chardonnay for James Holesinsky.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. The 2022 Holesinsky Vineyard Ghost Stallion Merlot. And now because we talked a little bit off camera about Saskatchewan, we are opening the 2021 Holesinsky Vineyard Purple Sasquatch, which is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yep. They have Sasquatches in Saskatchewan too. They talk about them a lot.
And Alaska, kind of all over in the Northwest.
Yep.
He's a real beast.
He's a real beast.
Great.
In our vineyard, he loves to drink our cab.
I'll bet he does. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. So this is the biggest red that I actually produce.
Big.
Big. This is gonna be your big red piece of meat.
This is your.
I don't eat.
It's what I was going to say, something completely inappropriate. So I'm just going to say this is 15%. Hashtag cheersing.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers. And so, yeah, we laid this down for about a year and a half as well. Big daddy, high alcohol, big wine.
It doesn't really taste that big, though. Not as big as the alcohol. It's really lovely.
I was going to say the Merlot, actually, I taste a little bit more heat in the Merlot than I do this.
Yeah.
So that just means the Merlot may need a little bit more time to open up, but this right out of the bottle is not, I'm not tasting it.
And very fruity. You taste it after. I think on the back end, there's some tannins.
This is wonderful.
So I usually love to open our reds at least 4 to 8 hours before I'm about to serve them. I do this at all dinner parties with any big reds. This guy's going to open up and honestly be huge, so you might be eating.
Do you open them up and decant them, or just open the bottle?
I just open them up. So sometimes if I'm like in a quick fix, we give it a little Molly Duker, pour a little bit out, aerate it a little bit.
I
kind of
love that reference.
wine world.
Do you put it in your left hand so that you do the Molly Duca shake? That
My right.
you have to
It
turn
should
it
be your
over.
left, though. He's right.
Yeah, and you have to turn it over. You can't do the Molly Duca shake when there you
You
go.
can do this if you take a little out.
It's the Idaho shake.
It's the Idaho shake. That's right. We don't use any of the. What do they put in the Molly Duca? Is the
nitrogen?
Nitrogen. Yeah. So that we'll put in the show notes that episode with Luke Marquis of Molly Duca. It was a lot of fun. We recorded that on a Saturday afternoon, and we tasted through probably 6 or 7, and we were done. We were done. They had 16%. We were done, but they're pretty fun. And you guys are a lot like that in terms of the fun you have behind your brand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it, but also there's a ton of science behind the scenes. There's a ton of arguing. No one really gets along. Sometimes that's why we end up with different bottles than what we originally thought.
I feel like I feel like if Caitlin has another glass, we might turn into a therapy session.
I don't know about that.
And this is the same company who did your others, Ghost Stallion, right?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, they're
all
really
of
nice.
my bottles are screen printed there in Garden City by Mitch at Precision Bottle Decorators.
These are great labels.
So when they do that, do they have to dry for a while? I mean, they must dry for a while, but how long?
So there's 3 different layers that are put on there, and I honestly, the print process with ink and all of that is so extensive. I really have not been there for a full process. I've been there for 1 color prints that they've done on our unicorn bottles, but I haven't been there for a 3 color print press run.
Nice.
We were talking when we were off air about where Shelley was from, where I'm from, a little bit of Saskatchewan and Sasquatch and Southern California. Caitlin, you mentioned something about a product in Southern California that is kind of fun and doing well. What is that?
Yeah, for sure. So we are a winery, we have water, we're a distillery, but we're also a co-pack. And so we do strategically work with brands outside of the state with co-pack. And so there's a really, really fun canned wine brand out of Southern California. It's called Pinkies. And so it's PNKYS. And so right now we're working on a Savvy Bee jalapeno canned wine for them, which is so hot.
Wow.
Hot in so many ways.
Please go check them out on Instagram. Like, they're so amazing. It's called Pinkies because in all reality, you can watch his brand story, but kind of along the lines of mine, we don't like to be too serious, and we like to be fun. We like to be approachable. So go check them out. They're amazing.
When you drink those, do you have to have your pinky sticking out?
So yeah, you'll see on their social media. It's kind of like making fun of pretentious wine drinkers.
Exactly.
And their pinkies out. Yeah. So they like break the pinky.
That's so cute.
I would do it like this.
No, you can't.
Totally. There you go.
See, I could get away with that with Caitlin as a guest.
Say it.
Because she's not going to get offended.
Exactly. Not offended
Shelley got
at all.
offended.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm so offended.
I'm so offended.
Have the
no.
papers.
Oh my gosh. Gosh. Okay. So we actually have some questions here. I haven't even. Oh, this is good. So who is the person behind your amazing social media posts? We have talked a little bit about your Instagram, but I really need to dive more into that. Who's the brain behind that?
So God, I want to say in 22, kind of when our Instagram and social media went off, I had an amazing gal reach out to me. She was at Boise State at the time. Her name is Sinai. She owns a social media company, and she works within Idaho, Oregon, and Washington.
Oh, wow.
She represents a couple Washington brands now, but I was her first. She's got a master's in marketing. She is absolutely amazing. She's young. She's fun. She's a wine judge. I think coming up, she's going to be on the Denver International Wine Competition panel. She's usually on the Savor Northwest panels, and then she does do a lot of education for the Idaho Wine Commission and then also Washington.
Nice.
So yeah, she'll do social media workshops, but she kind of came in with us when she was first starting, and we've kind of all just flourished together. And so it's kind of a culmination of all of our ideas of what we see on social media. Our brand as a whole, we really want to display who we are, which we're fun. We're approachable. We don't want to be serious. So we hope that that's conveyed in our social media, and she's done an amazing job at doing that.
Do you have a content calendar that you really go a month, 45, 60 days out on, or not quite that long?
So no, we are so busy with all of our calendars with all three brands so she also manages my Idawater sparkling water brand and then my Twin Falls distillery brand. And so really right now we're focused on wine and water. And so, we'll meet bi-weekly and do wine, and then about bi-weekly and do water. So usually I'm in the Boise market twice a week. So one of those days will usually be wine and water.
Got it.
Which brand did you start out with first?
The wine.
The wine, okay. Yeah.
Such a silly question.
Yeah.
I know, right? Wine, always. And then our water company was actually inspired by champagne and champagne making, the Charmant tanks. We started sparkling, 7 different varietals in 2022. And we said, well, why not sparkle water?
Why not?
So
why not?
That was the second. And then distilled spirits just kind of came on third, I guess, just because it's really easy for us chemists.
Yeah, you guys are super, super smart. Really, the mind of a chemist, you are constantly tinkering on things. I imagine this is the most fun thing you can ever do as a chemist is create blends of wine and deal with the chemistry behind winemaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. We're about to have Tim Donahue out of Washington here next week, and he's been a huge proponent and consultant for the Idaho wine industry. And we actually have a sweet spotter, so we're going to start doing NA wine next week on Wednesday. So that's super exciting, big emerging industry. I don't know if you guys have kind of tapped into that at all. We're kind of here for wine and alcohol, but
tap too much into it. We're keeping an eye on it, that's for sure, because it is the market is growing on that for sure.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I believe that we should do the Seasons of Coeur d'Alene wine word of the week.
Ooh.
Viticulture.
Viticulture, yeah.
We've
never done that word before?
Not that word particular.
In particular.
Viticulture refers to the cultivation of grapes, especially for winemaking, and encompasses the techniques and practices used in the vineyard to grow high-quality grapes, to make high-quality wines such as the ones we've tasted through today.
Which is what James was studying, right? Viticulture.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it's. I think you guys have a perfect harmonious pairing yourselves and your backgrounds. I think it's pretty cool. Leads to some fun dinners, I'm sure too.
Yeah, I always like to say that our wine is where old world meets new world.
Yeah, that's probably perfectly put, too. Quickly, some wines we enjoyed this week. We had Waterbrook Chardonnay, the F. Stephen Millier, Zinfandel. Can you do the Chevalier de la Craie Knights Templar Cuvée Premier Cru?
You just did it.
Okay, not very well.
Nobody knows what you said,
No.
but Chevalier de la Craie Knight Templar Cuvée Premier Cru.
There we go.
Antinori Pepoli Chianti.
Classical.
And Dave Harvey, Walla Walla Merlot.
There we go. Thank you. We are right now on this Friday the 13th in the middle of Prosecco week.
Oh, yeah.
Holesinsky makes a lovely sparkler. I think you call it sparkling. Sparkle.
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4 sparkling.
Yeah,
Cuvée.
and it's
Unicorn.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But Prosecco week, 11th through the 16th, we have the 16th is international, the 20th is National Drink Chenin Blanc Day, the 21st, World Lambrusco Day.
Lambrusco.
I am trying like crazy. I know. 22nd International Rosé Day. We kind of make fun of that day because every day is Rosé Day.
Yeah.
As it should be.
As it should be. Next week, we have got Lane and Vinny with Revora. The first time we had Lane on without his cousin Vinny. That's a play on words. But now Vinny's going to be in the mix. This should be kind of fun. Shelley's going to feel a little outnumbered, kind of like I feel outnumbered now.
I don't think you do, but okay.
A huge thanks to today's sponsors, Eternal Wine, Pilgrim's Market, and CDA Gourmet, who last weekend just celebrated their 2nd anniversary of in business. Good for you guys. Caitlin, do you have anything else you want to add before we put a bow on this very fun episode?
I would actually love to say I loved Pilgrim's Market when I visited your market, and it was absolutely amazing. And so that's so cool that they are your sponsor. Thank you so much for having me on. Hopefully sometimes you guys can come down to this area, enjoy our wine. We are in your market. Hopefully we can do another wine dinner soon, maybe in Coeur d'Alene. Although I love St. Point.
We will hook you up with possibilities. Well, not possibilities, the wine club, but possible places to have a wine dinner. We have many, many relationships, and we'd love to have help you get in and have one of those wine dinners. Because
we'd also like to come down there and visit.
Yes, we would like to come down. We've right now, in the last 2 months with the Oregon and the Idaho Wine Months, we've got ourselves
we have so many places to go.
So many places to visit.
Okay.
Caitlin, thank you so much for your time and making great wines, making great Idaho wines. I think Idaho is still a sleeper state, but it's coming around fast.
Mm-hmm. We are no small potatoes.
We're no small potatoes. Shelley loves that line. With a little bit of knowledge, wine becomes a lot less overwhelming. Thank you to our listeners. Go down to this area of Idaho and visit these wineries. You will not be disappointed at all. And we'll see you next week with the Hewitts from Revora. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending part of your day to wind down with Shelley and Phil. Remember, you can listen to any episode of the Wine Time Fridays podcast by visiting winetimefridays.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us on our Wine Time Fridays Facebook page, Instagram, or on Twitter, which is @VintageTweets, for daily conversation. Until next week, here's our toast to you. To health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, peace on earth, and of course, romance.
Unfortunately, I am a football fan, so is Shelley.
Who are you fans of?
Well, she's a USC fan.